Please stand by. I'm just making sure we have everything covered because we may have some lag tonight for some reason. Okay, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. This is the 7 o'clock Eastern Time XTRABYTES project overview for the North America zone. We want to thank you for taking the time out of your evening to join us here tonight. So just a little bit of basic information before we start. This presentation is designed for new people with inexperience and also for people who are non-English. Of course, this is not going to include a lot of people in North America, although there could be many. So the point of that is that we do read the presentation. That way it's easier for people to understand. We want people to get all the information that we have, and I will ad-lib from time to time as required. The next question is, why do we do it live? And that is because we want to grow the community. Growing the community with live presentations, it's a chance for people who like what they see to invite somebody to come and check things out and get a live presentation, and then they can of course come to our Discord or Telegram or anywhere else and ask questions, and we're happy to assist. So it's an information system. We like to show people the opportunity, to show them the potential, and we don't get into things like market caps because we anticipate that the majority of people who will come and see these presentations are going to be new to the crypto world. So we're going to talk about some prices and values, things like that. And as far as the crypto people who will come and check us out, perhaps for the second time or the third time or however many times you may want to come and check us out, we are talking about the tech as well. So that information is going to be there in some minor details. But also, new people need to know a little bit about the tech as well. They need to know if there's something here that's worthwhile for them to spend some time and perhaps some money on. So we'll talk about tech, we'll talk about dollars. For example, new people don't understand what transactions per second is. Although that's something that's easily definable, they really don't understand the technical side of it and why it's so important in crypto. Although crypto people, of course, do know. So that's why we try and balance it out that way. So it's an overview campaign designed to share. If you like what you see, bring a friend. And if you do that, you'll get a bonus of X Fuel. It's a bounty program that we have running. And that's pretty much it. So let's get to it. So welcome to the XTRABYTES project overview. We have a few more words we will say. Oh, just a minute here. Let me get my mouse on the right side. A few more things to say here to get things started. So we're about to introduce you to XTRABYTES. Before doing so, there's a few important things we'd like you to know. XTRABYTES is proudly a people business, a constantly evolving group of people working with other people towards the massive goal of creating the #1 blockchain and cryptocurrency platform for the people of the universe. There's a lot of thought in there. This is a project that is built by people, starting with 2 people, the founders, and then growing through a grassroots movement, other people catching an interest, and then bringing their skills to the table. And so that group of people grew, and the community grew. Okay, so we have 2 different groups of people growing, and even though the community group is also bringing people for the contribution group, the team. So everybody starts at the grassroots movement that started 3 years ago with this project, and we're all here committed to the success of this project with a long-term goal of creating something for people all over the world, all over the universe, so that they can have something that's, well, you're going to see. Exciting, advanced, lots of different things. We like to call this people power. We have nothing to sell you today, but of course you can buy coins from the exchanges. There's no membership or registration fees because we're not a club. As a software provider, you will be able to eventually buy our services. And as a coin owner, you can benefit from the success of our service and software sales as the project increases in value and more and more people find out about it. You can also become a part of our service provider network. This is the static network. You'll be hearing more about that in the coming days, and here you'll be able to earn rewards as well. You can simply become a part of our community and observe at no cost whatsoever. Or you can become a contributor, as I mentioned earlier on, and help to build the project. And with this, you can earn development rewards. So there's no pressure here. The only pressure you have is what comes from the markets, as it becomes your choice to buy, sell, or hold accordingly. XTRABYTES was founded in 2017 by Zoltan Szabo and Dave Bergsma. It was officially registered in Seychelles as an international business company in January of 2018, and with no ICO or IEO ever conducted by XTRABYTES or the founders, the project achieved early success and funding through its grassroots movement in the blockchain and cryptocurrency worlds. Zoltan is our lead developer and inventor, bringing years of ideas and technologies to improve blockchain, along with extensive experience in business development, business management, and fintech knowledge. Dave Bergsma started as the head of marketing and communications, bringing years of experience in various marketing-related endeavors, with tenacity and perseverance firmly entrenched to help navigate the uncharted waters. Even with no ICO or funding, any other funding available to work with, the founders picked up the abandoned XBY project and placed it back on the tracks. And this is one of the things that makes us so unique, and it was very difficult for people to understand why we did that in the beginning. Nonetheless, success was the final destination, and we continue on those tracks. On April 7th, 2017, the XBY blockchain from XTRABYTES was officially recognized, and by April 21st, 2017, 3 weeks later, or I guess that's 2 weeks later, sorry, the ascent from 1 Satoshi up to over 5,000 Satoshis within 9 months had begun, making XBY the highest and fastest price increase, as far as we know, in the history of crypto coins. Now, let me back up a little bit here. April 7th to 21st, that's 2 weeks. But we had to back up. This actually all started in around February 18th, I believe, February 17th, something like that. So 2 months before is when we actually started doing the work on Bitcoin Talk. And we're going to show you a link a little later. If you want to get into the real deep history, you can see all the stuff that happened in those 2 weeks before things really started to take off. So our new record now, our new target now is to break that record, starting with our 3rd anniversary, which was about 2 weeks ago. So during the initial time frame, the XTRABYTES team also started to evolve, and we now have over 50 people contributing with their various skills, talents, and knowledge. The vast part of the evolution occurred after the release of XFuel. This is our development token, which was also our first proof of tech, released in October of 2017. The XTRABYTES project is so large that none of what you see today or in the future would ever have been possible without the contributions of our amazing team. And this is where, we look back at XFuel and bringing out this token as the first of all a proof of tech, but also, how can you possibly build a project? You have to ask yourself this: how can you possibly build a project and have people work to spend their time away from their family and not give them anything? It just doesn't work. It's not possible. And so we were trying that, and we had a lot of really great people in the beginning that they really wanted to get involved and they wanted to help. And in fact, our first team, there was about 20 or 25 people. And they stayed around for maybe a month or so, but at the end of the day, when it comes time to put bread on the table, they weren't getting anything from here because we had no money. There was no development money available. And so a lot of these people started going another way because they had no choice. So a few people stuck around. They're still with us today. But the point being that the release of XFuel was probably the smartest thing we did. Because without XFuel, we would never be able to get where we are today. People have to eat. People have to have some kind of an inspiration. It's not just always about the tech, but now people have a dream. People have a connection to this. They're a part owner of this because they own XFuel for the work they've done. Blood, sweat, and tears is in this project because of XFuel. So if anybody tells you that XFuel is a waste, they absolutely have no idea what they're talking about. If you want to see the team, all these people that are working with us, go to that link right there. You can scan the QR code and you can see pictures and names of people that are on the team. Our mission statement: to revolutionize the concept of decentralization through enhanced cryptographic technologies, providing supercomputer capabilities to conquer the limitations of speed, scalability, and security. Just checking. Any lag? If anybody can answer me in Discord there, is there any lag happening? Everything's okay? Our vision statement: to become the #1 rated blockchain platform. Well, that's a pretty big dream, but we believe we can do it. So here's a small part of a screenshot for the top 100 cryptocurrencies by market capitalization. And of course, Bitcoin is at the top, which it is pretty much 99.9% of the time. I think once I've seen it not at the top. So that is the target that we're going for, as you can see with our little arrow. An executive summary. The XTRABYTES project is akin to, okay, thank you, Sunny. The XTRABYTES project is akin to a supercomputer on the blockchain. Unlike the majority of projects which are one way or another trying to compete with Bitcoin using the same base technology, XTRABYTES has invented a completely new technology. With XTRABYTES and our Exchange protocol, which is an integral part of our patent-pending post-sign consensus algorithm and data integrity protection system, we have a new technology designed to conquer the elusive blockchain trilemma. If successful, this would make us the first and only project with testing about to start to achieve this, and we are happy to say we have gone a step further with unlimited transactions per second. With these ongoing accomplishments being assembled at the foundation of our project and technology, along with code-agnostic connection systems, XTRABYTES will soon start adding the dApps of existing service providers, as well as developing our own services to offer what we believe will be the fastest and most secure decentralized platform in the world. To top it all off, XTRABYTES is designed to have the ability to scale up to unlimited proportions as the project and user base matures and expands. So let me just touch on a couple more things here. This part here, XTRABYTES will start adding dApps of existing service providers. This is where this code agnostic connection system comes in. This is the DICOM. This means that people can come here with whatever dApp they have working on whatever other project that's now connected to that project. They'll be able to come and just connect directly to our platform no matter what is written in. Okay? That's pretty strong. So we're happy about that. That's going to make it very easy for people to come over here and become part of our ecosystem as well. And I think that's going to be very good for all the developers out there to be able to do that. Also, when we talk about the elusive blockchain trilemma, basically adding speed is an extra thing. People are trying to get decentralization, scalability, and security. These are the three things for blockchain. That's the trilemma. And we have got all three, plus we've added unlimited transactions per second as well. So these are some pretty big achievements that we've brought to the table here, and we're really looking forward to being able to put that on display. So what's the opportunity? Although there's nothing for you to buy, as we indicated at the start, there is an opportunity for you to buy our coins if you see the benefit of doing so. Simply go to our exchanges to buy from existing holders who are willing to sell. Of course, the idea is to buy low and sell high. This is how people make profits. And if you're inexperienced, well, you can take our trading courses, which is going to be in the XTRABYTES Academy, also coming soon. Okay, so we're here to help people as much as we can. This is the supply of XBY total, 650 million coins, with 338 million currently circulating. That is with 172 million of them locked in static nodes at this time. And there's 140 million frozen in Cryptopia, which is an exchange that we were listed on about a year and a half ago. And it got hacked, and this is how many coins were on the exchange at the time, so they all got locked in there. Thankfully, the New Zealand courts have decided that those coins belong to us as community members, so the coins are eventually going back to the rightful owners, and of course, it's not just XTRABYTES that was on there. There's, I think, something like 900 different companies, so there's a massive, massive hack. But yes, all those coins are going to be brought back to all those companies and all the people who had them, so that was good news. We look forward to when that happens. XFuel, same thing, 650 million coins, and at this time there's 330 million circulating. And cold storage is still 320 million. These coins only come out for development purposes, for paying for the people doing the work and all the things that they bring to the table. And also we have these for bounties as well, which is also part of development. That's developing our community. So what's going to happen once we open up static registration, which is coming very soon also, is you're going to start seeing that some of the XFuel will get locked up in static nodes. Okay. Where do you buy them? Well, we have two exchanges at this point. You can go to that link or scan that QR code, and you'll be able to see we have a decentralized exchange and we have a centralized exchange at this point, and we do look to add more exchanges. And what's the problem? Well, the original Bitcoin protocol has been updated several times over the years, but still can't handle current traffic at peak times, which means when lots of people want to sell Bitcoin because the price is going up and they want out, well, it becomes very difficult when it becomes very busy, and you have to pay a lot of money or you have to wait a lot of days to get your money. So it's a problem with the protocol. And of course, that imagine if the 5 billion people that are supposedly coming to crypto over the next few years want to do that, it's impossible. So there's a big problem. They're trying to sort that out with Bitcoin, but we're taking a different approach. Anyway, let's talk about the speeds first of all. So Bitcoin is 4.6 transactions per second. Obviously, that's the reason why there's an issue there. It's quite low. Ethereum does a little better, 18 to 20, but still very low. And Dash 56. Then we have Ripple, who's a little better, much better actually, 1,700. But then you see Visa, that's actually looking at a global type payment system. 20,000 transactions per second is what they peaked at during a Christmas period one year. So these are really where we would like to go, but you know, we have something else coming that we're looking forward to putting on display here very soon. Otherwise, other projects have achieved higher numbers, but we can't compare them because they're not all transactions. These include small transfers of data, which is much easier, so it's not fair to compare to all those other projects like that. In the blockchain and data world, it's not enough to display numbers achieved in small scale scenarios or even numbers as high as 300,000 transfers per second. That's transfers, not transactions. Big difference. These solutions must also be scalable and be able to handle peak population stresses. They must be decentralized to eliminate the central control issues, and they also must maintain extreme levels of security. So what you see here, this picture is the XTRABYTES ecosystem. I'll let you just take a look while I have a drink here. Okay, so now we'll get into a little more details about the XTRABYTES ecosystem. The first thing we'll talk about is the user entity network. This is the internet, basically. This is where all the transactions of data will originate. The only speed or capacity limit is the entities on the actual network which are available to make the transactions. So this means devices, which is people, of course, or dApps, which is the programs. Excuse me. Data, of course, which comes from these entities. This is all data. So cryptocurrency transactions, photos, videos, music, audio, smart contracts, messages, commands, critical documents, will certificates, etc. You name it. The data that you have on your computer can be put through our system, and from there, there'll be many things that you can do with it. But also just mention about the commands thing. This is to do with our Excite Mobile, which is very close to having the first public version coming out. So the XChat console in there is where you get commands into the static network to do what you need to do with your coins. So this is a command system, but it's also an encrypted chat system. So the chat part is like an extra that's been thrown in there because we need the XChat for the commands. So that's coming as well. Although it won't be on the first release, I don't think. We'll have to see, but it's coming. Static node network. This is like the supercomputer, where all information passes, gets processed, recorded, and eventually stored for later use, while also providing access to all dApps and services throughout the network. And then we have PostSign. This is the data integrity protection system. This is our consensus algorithm. This is one of the game changers of the XTRABYTES platform and ecosystem. So why is it so fast? Okay, so in traditional blockchain, the first step is to push the complete transaction data, all the data that is required to understand what it is, where it's going, and all that kind of stuff. It all gets pushed inside of a memory block, and it stays there forever. That's why the Bitcoin blockchain is so huge. They all get huge. Um, with extrabytes, we separate everything, sending each part to its optimal location, leaving only a piece of microdata for future reference to be stored on the X chain forever. So make a kind of just a real small comparison here. Traditional blockchain is like walking with some stones in your pocket, and extrabytes is like sending unlimited sized bulk orders of stones minute by minute to your choice of destination. Very big difference there, obviously. And then why is it so secure? Although we can't get into the deep details about this, it will be possible for people to learn in the Academy. Otherwise, to say it simply, there are no connections to critical elements, and any attempts to override these controls are immediately thwarted by the protocol. So, decentralization. The elusive blockchain trilemma we spoke of earlier. This is literally unattainable by anyone who has tried thus far. Any groups who've tried have always had to sacrifice one of the other two elements, and usually it's decentralization. The way Extrabytes protocol works is that there's literally no bottlenecks at any point in our consensus. Nothing that limits speed, and the security is built right into the protocol itself. So the only thing left for us to ensure is decentralization. And we do that with our static nodes. This can expand or contract as required, and there's no limitations placed on, there's going to be limitations placed on future individuals or entities trying to register unlimited static nodes, which would result in unwanted centralization of ownership. So let's take a look at the markets, our competition. Crypto market. This is the first and perhaps most talked about network when you consider what the masses know. Most people have heard about Bitcoin by now, although they don't know about the hundreds of other copycat coins who actually have added no additional benefit or technology advancement to the market itself. Basically, they're competing with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is the king, and it would be kind of foolish to try to go head to head with them. Blockchain or distributed ledger market. This is another big industry here we have. This market is also starting to fill up. The best known project is Ethereum. The problem is that the only thing most of these projects have done is add a small change or an addition to the technology, to the Bitcoin protocol itself. And then, of course, they continue to chase Ethereum for their share of the marketplace as they all search for a breakthrough to solve the blockchain trilemma. And then the data integrity market. This is the extrabytes market, and there really is no competition at this point. We've looked at all the original protocols, identified the weaknesses, and found better ways, and are releasing what we believe will be the #1 blockchain development platform across all crypto and blockchain markets. So be sure to join our test nets. This is coming very soon. Become part of the movement. Why extrabytes? Well, there's a lot of words here. There's a lot of history here, 3 years of history of this project. In the beginning, there was a lot of fate that brought things together, and of course, to get through some of the challenges takes perseverance and tenacity among everybody, not just the people, not just the founders, not just the people working with us, and not just the community. You know, we had to persevere through some very challenging times. And, you know, for example, losing 140 million coins, that was a really, really difficult thing for a lot of people. A lot of people lost coins in that. And of course, going through a year and a half of not knowing whether they're coming back. But a lot of people, they decided to stick around. So, you know, these things are a part of the DNA, I guess you can say, of the project at this point. We have a never say die attitude, and that goes deep within the entire team of contributors that we have here, all the people that work with us to help things grow and improve. And then, of course, timing. Timing is huge because we came along. This fateful meeting came along at a time when blockchain was starting to really heat up. It was heading into its first major bull run, and a lot of people were coming into the space, but there was visible signs of things that were not good in the tech, and that's where Zoltan came along with these ideas that he had, and then we started working together to explain to people what we were bringing to the market. So the timing of that was perfect, and we attracted a very good grassroots community of over 5,000 people in the beginning in our first Discord or Slack. I'm not sure which it is, but we had a very good group of over 5,000 people. So the vision that's here with this project And it's not just the vision of Zoltan or the vision of myself for the various things we wanted to do and had to do to move things forward, but it's also the vision of all the people who became part of the team, bringing their ideas to the table as well. So there's a lot of vision that's come into this project, and then of course the abilities. There's so many people, talented people with these various abilities that have helped us move this project forward. So, as I was saying earlier, this is a very unique situation. A group of people who all feel that they're part owners in this project, and they are. So it's pretty difficult to stop something like that. This is everybody's baby, and we all push to make this thing grow. We all keep going every day, every day, every day. We keep pushing to bring this project to fruition, and we're all getting pretty excited because we're getting closer and closer. So it's important to recognize that, because a lot of projects are built on things that are much less meaningful. Let's just say it like that. Okay, so I think once we get things going here and people start to recognize the success, this is going to go down as a pretty powerful company built in a very unusual way. And I look forward to the stories down the road. So if you want to learn more about all this, we have the whole story is starting right there at that link. You can scan that QR code. That's our original Bitcoin talk thread. And also, this is a very good video, one of the first videos that we did. It'll show you where the inspiration comes from for the project. And then we have a small forecast here. Let me just take another drink of water. Hold on. First of all, this is not financial advice. Right now, with all the assets we have and all the milestones we've achieved, we are, in my opinion, without a doubt, the most oversold and undervalued project that exists in the crypto space today. Now, this is going to change. The moment we start revealing our true power of our tech, that will change. Okay, we will start seeing people say, "Wow, it's true," and this kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens with our prices after that. But we can never tell what the markets are going to do. But people are going to start realizing that XTRABYTES is what everything we've said it is and was all the way along. So you have been invited here today because you have some choices. Pretty simple choices, actually. You can become a part of what makes all of this happen by being, like we said in the beginning, you could be a contributor, you can buy some coins, you can sit back and just observe from a distance, you can get involved in the community, lots of things. All of this stuff helps, okay? You can simply watch and completely stay in the shadows after you buy some coins, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that as well. There's lots of people that do that. Or, of course, you can stand back and do nothing and later ask, what just happened? Now, of course, that's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but you know what? It's completely up to you. We don't push anybody into anything. If you like what you see, great. If you don't, that's fine. We thank you for your time, but we hope you like what you see. So ask yourself these questions. If this project succeeds, if the tech is miles ahead of everyone else, if it's secure, fast, and scales without issue, and is decentralized, plus it does everything that Bitcoin, Ethereum, and even Google can do without the central control and censorship, what's it really worth? That's a pretty big question. So right now we're way under $1 for one coin. So the question that you might ask yourself is, boy, could we get to $10 or 100? We get to some numbers that a lot of people think it's not even possible, and we don't know. We really don't know. But what we do know is that there's nothing other than people that will make this project grow to the heights that it will achieve. That's just the way it is. And so we continue working, we continue bringing out this technology we've been speaking about for 3 years, and pretty soon people are going to start realizing what's here and being able to actually play with it. So how big can it get? We don't know. But there's some numbers just for you to bounce around in your head. It's a fantastic time to get involved. That's really what the bottom line is here. And I think there's a lot of time between now and when we start seeing any real big numbers, but I can't be sure of that either. We don't want to see a fast growth. We don't want a pump and dump situation, although we can't control that from happening. But we would much prefer a nice, steady growth of more people, more people, more people, more people, more people, and then let the price itself go where it's going to go as people start to basically become involved, and the system starts to work, and then the ecosystem starts to work, and then we get big projects, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, who start using our technology, and this is what really we want. And then that way we can start to grow steadily, steadily, steadily over time. Okay, so this is not a short-term business. This is a long-term business with a long-term goal. Uh, Basically, development is never going to stop. That's one thing Zoltan always says, because people keep asking, when is it going to be finished? When is it going to be finished? And he'll say, it's never going to be finished, because technology is never finished. It just keeps advancing. So just a little bit of extra added in there. Another big question. This is a multi-billion-dollar question. How are we going to do this? And that's a good question, because we have no ICO, self-funded, low budget, as we've talked about. How can it be done? Well, what I like to see now is that we've already been through the first 3 years, and now we have that foundation that we've been waiting for. Okay, so the foundation is in place now. At this point, we need to start acting on all the next steps that will help the world better understand the power of the XTRABYTES project and what our development team has been working so hard to accomplish over the last 3 years. Just to throw one more thing in here, to keep in mind that the main reason it's taken so long is because he only had one guy working on the foundation tech. It's his inventions. Okay, and so that was a big challenge. And then of course we got a lot of time burned up with trying to sort the patents out. Something that people may not know is that Zoltan is not a native English speaker, so that's one challenge we had. And he's also he's not 100% deaf, but he might as well be. It's very difficult for him, especially in his outside of his native tongue, to communicate. But we got through it, and we figured out some ways. And we had somebody named Golden come along back a few months ago, and he was able to envision the PoSign technology far more than anybody else could possibly have ever envisioned it. And so that was the breakthrough that we needed. So this is what I mean. It's all about teamwork. So thankfully, we attracted several other very talented developers to work on all the critical infrastructure, which is starting to be revealed now. And the end result will be a merging of minds and the opening of test nets. So here's where we are now with up to moving up to these test nets. We had to get a lot of stuff in place. So the first part was to get the Genesis network testing. So that's of course been going on for quite a while now. Then we had to connect the static nodes to the Genesis network. That happened about 2 weeks ago. And then connecting the Excite module to Statics and Genesis. That also a couple of weeks ago. And then they started doing test communications between them. The first message I posted for everybody was the very, very first message successful between Excite and the Statics, or one static, I should say. 2 Excites, I believe, and 1 Statics. So that was around 2 weeks ago. And then they had to connect additional static nodes to continue with the communications. And then we ended up with a nice, interesting number, which we won't repeat. We're waiting for things to go live with testing so we can talk about what everybody can see with their own eyes. Yesterday, no, it was 2 days ago, they connected the DICOM system, part of the DICOM system, for activating the DAP protocols to connect with Excite. And then they had to update the network again with that. So that was all done yesterday. And then today, they've been working on I guess it's really an API of the Explorer, which is required for making sure that the transaction outputs are correct, and for the double spending, basically. And then the next step is going to be to release the version 0.6 to the beta group. So I don't know whether that's going to happen tomorrow. I hope so. Maybe we'll have some testing to be able to do over the weekend. I know we had some good news earlier. I don't know how deep the good news is, though. But I do know that it's looking like they're almost there. So this page will continue to evolve, with updates being added as we go. Marketing plan. XTRABYTES has been running a low-key marketing tactics for several months now. Social media and blog teams have been very active with posts while reaching out to various players in the industry. And of course, this will continue. But now we're starting into a much larger campaign that's going to last several months, and that is designed to attract the massive user base that we require to really show the world the power of the XTRABYTES project. So that's what this is all about. So we have 4 weekly project overviews, and then a bring a guest bounty. So anybody who you bring to listen to this project the first time, you're going to get a bounty for that. We have a professional documentary planned for June. More about that on the next page. This has already been recorded. And then to go along with that, we have a viral social media video campaign with big bounties available. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then again, the Academy is going to be there to help educate the community. This is also attached to the documentary. And the way that worked is when we first started talking with the documentary, they were interviewing us, and one of the things they really liked is the fact that we were bringing out this Academy. So between that and the technology itself and our passions, they decided that they wanted us to be their industry professionals for cryptocurrency and blockchain. And cost permitting, various paid advertising campaigns will occur. So we'll get into this public television documentary a little bit, and I'm going to just skip one more ahead there so we can show the 6-minute corporate profile. So this is the filming that we did at the end of February. It ended up being 6.5 minutes. We've seen the demo. It's very good. But basically what they do for the public television aspect of it is they take out any of the promotional stuff that's in there and they stick just to the educational part. And that is going to be aired on public television stations for 1 year all around the US, all 50 states. Excuse me. Estimated viewership 60 million homes. 1 second. So this 6-minute profile, they broadcast. It's a broadcast quality 6-minute educational documentary in HD, basically documenting the issues and the educational message that we have for the target audience. And then they also have a internet campaign for us. So they digitized the documentary and they put it into a digital file so we can stream it on our website as well as on social media. And then they're going to design and generate an email campaign to our narrowcasted audience, which means anybody who comes to them looking for information about cryptocurrency and blockchain, they'll send up to 1 million video emails of our content to them. And then we have also commercial TV airings. The media firm, they've put a high-end, it's getting late, sorry, a high-end 1-minute educational commercial segment used for network distribution. So it's broadcast once in prime time, 84 million homes. You can see the networks there, and it's also 400 times in the top 100 designated market areas during peak and prime time on all those other networks as well. So lots of coverage. Now, of course, that session is not as big as the first one with the 1 year. But regardless, we believe we're going to get a lot of traffic from this. And so just to take a look at the actual public television network, public television viewership, these consist of affluent, educated adults, okay, mostly. And we're showing some things where we're going to compare to the percentage more likely than the U.S. average. So wealth-wise, 84% more likely to own $150,000 or more in stocks, which of course is a good thing for people that might want to come into the crypto world. 42% more likely to have used money management or financial counsel. 21% more likely to own investment in real estate. And 67% more likely to have spent $6,000 or more in foreign travel in the last year. Their employment, 14% more likely to have had the job of vice president and 13% more likely to have been the president. And their education, 25% more likely to have completed postgraduate education, 25% more likely to have taken adult education courses in the last year, 54% more likely to attend museums, and 44% more likely to be a book club member. So I think it's needless to say that these people are a really, really good target audience for a crypto project, especially one like ours, which is going to be putting on display a lot of interesting technology and advancements in the crypto technology that's out there. Okay, so we're really happy with that audience. Our sales plan. With XTRABYTES, when we talk about sales, there's several different sectors of the project. Individual sales relate to the services and the applications that people are going to use. That's a critical part of the project's success. This is our user base. This is what will bring people around. This is what's going to attract them. What's going to make people talk to other people because they're going to see these services running on our systems. Okay. So that's all part of the marketing strategy, obviously, that we have right now. But for this, I wanted to focus on the business-to-business side of it. So once we've established our benchmarks from the test nets that are upcoming, this is going to happen with our community members. So if you want to become part of the testing group, go and make yourself known on Discord because there's lots of room there. And then, of course, in a few days, it's going to be public anyways. But if you want to get in early, then you can do that. So the test numbers that are going to come from our members, it's going to help us show real numbers that we can produce for the target companies. And at that point, it's going to be time to start working towards partnerships with these people, pilot projects, direct contracts, this kind of stuff for them to start using our technology in a beneficial way. We're going to show them how much more benefit they can get out of the XTRABYTES project for whatever they're using at this time. We'll show them how much better it could be with us. That's the idea. So pay attention to the evolution of this section of our presentation. As an early adopter, you stand to benefit when we are able to attract the attention of large companies and businesses out there in the world. Because once again, if we get some big companies using our technology, that's going to start making a lot of things happen in the ecosystem itself. Okay. So achievements to date, we'll go through this real quick. As I said earlier, we built the original community to 5,000 members, withstood multiple exchange failures actually and hacks. It's interesting parts of our history. Also survived several leadership challenges. This is not unusual in any company. Built a team of over 50 people, as we said, in 12 different departments. Successfully bridged 2 crypto chains. That was an interesting advancement in technology for Zoltan to show everybody back in 2017. And then, of course, we successfully released Pulsine Lite on XFuel and XPY. And that meant at that point that both of our chains ran without any other algorithms, no POW, no POS, that's proof of work or proof of stake or anything else. Then we started the process of patenting our technology. We registered XTRABYTES for trademark protection, and then we opened up another company, XTRABYTES Intellectual Properties Inc. This is for IP ownership and a future public company. So that company is the company that's going to own the patents and own it owns the trademarks. So also there's lots of blogs. If you want to go to blog.xtrabytes.global, you'll see all of our blogs there that are available to read. Lots of great information there. And of course, really old news, the testnet 3 years ago. Yeah, I guess about 3 years ago, not quite. 400 plus TPS. That was kind of a pretty big thing back then. And that was with Pulsine Lite only. And then we've released some beta versions of Excite Mobile. Built our own independent explorer for XPY and XFuel. And a lot of numbers here of attracting people. Now, of course, these numbers are out of date. We have been more or less pretty silent for about 2 years as we worked on the development side of things. And just recently we started working on marketing again. So we see these numbers starting to pick up again, and we believe they'll go beyond what we have here before long. And hopefully we'll attract a lot of the people back that were already involved back in time. So also the last 2 here, of course, we achieved patent pending status for our Pulsine technology. That was a very big thing that happened back at Christmas time. And as we just said, chosen as industry experts by a successful media firm. In addition to all of this, the project has also evolved, transitioned from a completely anonymous team to one that has seen several team members reveal their true identities along with LinkedIn profiles and pictures for the world to see, including 2 powerful